this video on 25 MCQs, 50 MCQs on compression members in steel structures. So, effective length of compression member. So, we know effective length of compression member, that is distance between points of contraflexion, that we are going to say as effective length. So, we have option is C. Next question we have, what is slenderness ratio? And slenderness ratio, we know that is ratio of effective length to radius of gyration. So we have option is A. Then we have, what is the effective length of 9-meter column when one end of member is fixed and other end is free? So we know when one end is fixed, other free, we have L effective is 2L, and therefore 2L it becomes 9 into 2, 18 meters. Now for compression members with double angle section, unequal angles are preferred to equal angles because in this case they lead to large value of minimum radius of gyration. You can go to the lectures, that is compression members, then you will get answer for this. What is the effective length when both ends of the compression member restrained against translation but not restraints against rotation? So this shows your both ends are pinned, and in that case our L effective is equal to L. In design of compression member PD, this is less than P, greater than P, both A and B, none of this. So in this, the value of PD should be always greater than P. Now this you have to keep in mind, we have TD greater than T, MD greater than M. In IS code that is given as P less than PD. So here we have question that is PD greater than P. In design of compression member, PD is equal to this. We know this formula, we have A into FCD. Option is A. This is given in IS code. In design of compression member, in which case AE is not equal to AG. If you will go to the compression member lecture, then you will get answer for this. And answer we have, that is slender. So in other all cases, that is compact, semi-compact and plastic, we have AE equal to AG. So here question, in design of compression member, in which case AE equal to AG, and then we have all the above. Except slender, we have AE equal to AG. In design of slender compression member, AE, so obviously that is less than AG. We have to deduct ineffective area. How we will find ineffective area? We will go to the uh, width to thickness ratio, and accordingly we have to deduct that ineffective area from this, and that will be less than AG. In design of compression member, if slenderness ratio increases, the design compressive stress obviously it decreases. If you will go to table 9 A, B, C, D, then all these you will get answer of this. Then in compression member, the value of design compressive stress for a particular slenderness ratio is maximum for. Now you can go to table 9A, B, C, D, and then you will get answer for this is class A. The Euler's buckling stress for a compression member is 125 MPa. It is given that the yield strength of steel is 250 MPa. Width of thickness of flange is 250 mm and 15 millimeter respectively. The non-dimensional effective slenderness ratio is 1.4. Now how we will get this? So Fy upon FCC. So Fy we have 250 and FCC we have 125. So 250 upon 125. So from there we will get this value as 2. So we have root 2, that is 1.4. The effective slenderness ratio of a batten column is taken as 1.1 times the actual slenderness ratio of the column to account for. So we have to account it for all the above, that is axial deformation, bending deformation and shear deformation. The maximum value of design compressive stress is, so that value should be less than Fy. The maximum value of design compressive stress for Fy is equal to 250 MPa, and that is equal to, so we have this will be less than, so that comes 227 MPa. Now from where we will get this, so you can see this FCD, this should be less than or equal to, so maximum value we have equal to Fy upon gamma mo, which is 1.1, so 250 upon 1.1, it comes 227 MPa. Euler's buckling stress for a compression member with slenderness ratio 100 and Fy 250 is. Now answer for this we have 190. So you can have this formula FCC, Euler's buckling stress as pi square E upon KL by R whole square, and we have given that KL upon R as 100. So pi square into 2 to the power 5 upon 100 square, and we will get this value, that is 197, which is C. Now the design compressive stress for reduction factor 0.8 is, now already I have shown you the formula, that is x Fy upon gamma mo, where x is reduction factor, and if I will substitute this value in this, we will get 182. Here you have x value is 0.8, Fy we have 250, and gamma mo is 1.1. Then the maximum imperfection factor for is for class. So we have class A, that is value is minimum, which is 0.21, and maximum we have for class D, which is 0.76. So if we will see difference, so we will have this value 0.21, which is for class A. If you add 0.13, then you have 0.34 for B. Then 0.15, if you will add in this, you will get this as 0.49. And 0.27, if you will add in this, then you will get 0.76. If the slenderness ratio of compression member increases, the stress reduction factor. So if slenderness ratio increases, so we are going to be FCD decreases, and FCD is directly proportional to stress reduction factor. So automatically this also decreases. So you can have this. So I have this 8A, which is stress reduction factor. So you can see KL upon R, which is increasing, and then you can have this stress reduction factor that is decreasing. Now the buckling class for channel section is, so you can have except I section, for all we have, that is channel section, then we have T section, then we have angle section, then we have rod, then we have square bar. For this all we have buckling class is class C. Now the buckling class for angle section. So just I have mentioned. So for this also we have answer is A. C, you can have this table 10. If you will go in the table 10, you can have for all these rolled section we have, that is C. Only I section we have A or B, that is depending upon your thickness and width, depth, all this. The buckling class for built up member is, this is also C. If you will go to the same table, in that table you are going to get this as built up members, we have buckling class as C. Now circular column section is generally not used in actual practice because, so it is difficult to connect beams to the round section. So we have option is C. In actual practice, thickness of the member that are connected by a gusset plate are. So now this is very clear that already you have with trusses, and in that one we have used gusset plate. So my angle section value, that should be less than or equal to thickness of gusset plate. Our thickness of gusset plate should be greater than the thickness of the members. Now the vertical compressive member in steel building is called, so we have that is stanchion B option. Now among the following actions given, which is not mode of failure of a column, so torsion buckling, squashing, overall failure buckling. So these buckling, these are related with columns. Shear we do not have related with columns, so we have that option is A. The slenderness ratio of column supported throughout the length by a masonry wall is. Now as column is supported throughout, so we do not have any unsupported length, and therefore my slenderness ratio is 0. The column with one end fixed and other free has a load carrying capacity of P. If the free end and fixed end made pinned, then its load carrying capacity, and that will be 4P. Now you can have this simply. We have I can write P is equal to formula. If I will write for column, so we have pi square E upon lambda square. Pi square E upon lambda square. And now in first case, lambda is KL upon R, and that is square. In first case, my value of K is 2, and in another case, my value of K is 1. So 2 square, which will be 4, goes on this side, and therefore it becomes 4PE. Calculate the radius of gyration for ISLB 600 with IXX, IYY, and A. So we have this radius of gyration, and we are interested, that is radius of gyration along XX direction. And then we have this is equal to under root of I by A. And if you will calculate this under root I by A, you will get 239.8 millimeters. So we have RXX, and that is equal to under root of I by A. That will be given. You require about RXX, or you require about YY. And if they ask minimum, then we have to go for IYY upon A. So depending upon the axis about which they have asked. Now in built-up section, members are arranged in such a way that, so we have already seen, if we will go to that video, then we have moment of inertia about both axes is nearly equal. Then slenderness ratio of lacing bar should not exceed. Now you can go to the video which is on lacing and battening, and you will have answers of the questions which are hence after. So we have 145 will be the answer. Minimum width of lacing bar, we have this will be 3 times diameter of connecting bolt or rivet. So it should not be less than 3 times. So we have width that is not less than 3 times the diameter of connecting bolt or rivet. Now the inclination of lacing bar in compression member, then theta shall not be less than. So that should not be less than 40. So answer is B. So we know this value should be between 40 to 70 degree. So it should not be less than 40 degrees. The thickness of single lacing member should be, now see the questions very carefully. So it should not be less than 1/40th of the thickness of the length. So be very careful with the option, will be B. Now thickness of the double lacing member should be not less than 160. So we have 1/40 for single lacing, 1/60 for double lacing, and that is 1/50 for battening. So we have option as D. Now you can see this thickness of batten member should be, that is 160, that we can say effective length. This we are going to say distance between centroids of the members, individual members, and that we have to consider over here. Whereas in case of lacing, we have that will be effective length of lacing. Now effective slenderness ratio of laced column. So we know this value is 1.05 times the slenderness ratio of column, that is overall slenderness ratio, and this value we have option B. Now if we will go to the next question, which is condition should be satisfied for spacing of lacing. Maximum slenderness ratio of component of members between 2 consecutive lacing connection, and that we should be very careful, should not be greater than 50. So we have 2 conditions. It should not be greater than 50, and second we have that should not be greater than 0.7 times lambda. So options, if we will see, you will see the options are near about same. So you can have this here. You can see this statement is most important, that ratio of between the consecutive is not greater than. So we should be very careful with this. So should not be greater than. Then we have effective slenderness ratio of batten column. So we know that is 1.0405 for lacing, and for battening we have 1.10 times the maximum slenderness ratio. Now batten should be designed to resist transverse shear force, which is, now we know battens or lacing both we are going to design for 2.5% of axial shear force. Then I have not taken that battens are designed for what longitudinal shear. Then you have that formula and you can go to that formula, and from which you are going to get this value, because longitudinal shear we have V C upon we have that formula that I don't remember actually. So we have two formulas, that is for longitudinal shear and for moment. So from that you are in position to answer for questions if we have that questions. Now a laced column is dashed as that batten column for same load. So laced column, obviously we have stronger. What is the reason? Because we have effective slenderness ratio in case of the laced column is 1.05, and in case of batten it is 1.1. So in case of batten your slenderness ratio is more, so automatically your FCD value will be less. The slenderness ratio of each member when placed back to back or separated by small distance shall be. Now this is also given in IS. If you will see, then it is mentioned over here is not greater than 40 or 0.6. So not greater than 40. Minimum diameter of bolt when member is less than 16 millimeter thick. When less than 10 millimeter thick, we can say. So answer is 16, and here you can see up to and including 10 millimeter thick. So we have diameter as 16 millimeter. So this is not less than, is less than 10 millimeter thick, and up to 10. So here you can see this up to and including 10 millimeter thick we have 16 millimeter. For 20 millimeter diameter we are going to use up to 16 millimeter, and 20 above it. So we have less than 10, so we have to go for 16 millimeter diameter. Which of the following is correct? Now you can see this, and we have this as single lace system on opposite of main component shall be in shadow of the other. Now the friction coefficient between base and concrete, we have this value as 0.45. You can go to IS code and you will get this when you have bases over there. Now depth of end batten. So we have this end batten, and that distance between, perpendicular distance between the centroid of main members. Already I mentioned this above, and this we are going to use to decide the depth of end battens. Now depth of indeterminate battens, so we have this will be 0.75 times the depth of end battens. So answer we have C. Now the maximum bearing pressure shall not exceed the bearing strength. So this is again for slab basis, and answer we have 0.6 MCK. And last we have that in any case depth of batten should not be less than. Now this is for both, for your end battens also and for your intermediate batten also, and that value should not be less than twice the width of the channel. So that is the width of the member. And we have these are the 50 questions which we have that are related with compression members. So thank you. So today we will stop here only.